Okay. Well, welcome. I am always excited about the second Tuesday inspirational calls to action. And as this is your first time, to give you the context, my company, I do speaking, coaching, and training for individuals and organizations. However, helping people to discover what it means to live a life of significance is something I would do even if I were not getting paid. And so it is from this heart and passion that these second Tuesday monthly inspirational calls to action was birthed. Here's my goal. We're going to have about 20 to 30 minutes together. And my goal is for you to walk away with at least one immediate action that you can take. Now, I'm going to also do some live coaching as we spend our time together. So I encourage you, have a pen, paper, OneNote, or Word document, whatever is your tool of choice, ready to jot down personal reflections about the space where you live and serve. I am certified through the John Maxwell program, and so some of the principles that we're going to explore today is going to draw from content that his team of international leaders have developed. And I'm going to provide some powerful takeaways that I experienced on the mission trip to Ecuador that I just returned from. Okay, so remember our goal: for you to walk away with one immediate action you can take on your own journey to live a life of significance. I attend Victory Church, and these are the 8 other missionaries that I traveled with on our 10-day mission trip to Quito and Latacunga, Ecuador. On that mission trip, I learned more than I taught, I received more than I gave, and I was served more than I ministered. And here's the beauty. My story is not just about what happened once we arrived in Ecuador, but my story is about my entire journey, starting with the fact that I felt unprepared and unqualified for the mission trip. So now, here is the first question for you to just make a mental note of this first time. We're not going to pause to answer it, but when I ask the question, I want you to allow it to kind of like bake in your subconscious. What opportunity to serve emerged in a space where you are currently or have been in the past, and your self-talk was you are unprepared or unqualified? So again, just think into that question. What opportunity to serve has emerged in a space you are currently or have been, and your self-talk has been, you know what? I am unprepared or unqualified to serve in this space. So what was my mission? Glad you asked. The mission was to come alongside For His Children, our partners in Ecuador, and to support the amazing work that they have been doing for well over 30 years. For His Children is a Christ-centered nonprofit ministry that creates this environment of love and care and nurturing for abandoned, abused, and neglected children with special and normal needs. And I have to tell you, I was absolutely intimidated by this mission. And my insecurities created this tunnel vision. And all I could see was the part of the mission that I was not trained for. My small group at church, we're currently discussing a reading plan on the YouVersion Bible app. It's called Yes, No, and Maybe: Living with the God of Immeasurably More by Wendy Pope. And Wendy summarized beautifully the start of my journey when she challenged us not to be fixated on what she calls the uns in life: unprepared, unqualified, and instead to focus on what God is presenting to us by His grace. You see, I had to quiet my self-talk and pay attention to what others around me saw in me. Friends, family, and colleagues told me that everything about who I am, about my experiences and my gifts, said that this mission was a match for me. And so what I had to do was I had to borrow their confidence while I began to build my own. One of the most powerful takeaways from John Maxwell's law of contribution is you can't give what you don't have. So borrowing others' confidence in me, it did allow me to move forward. However, I had to grow and I had to own that confidence for myself in order for me to be my best self in serving others. I needed to be coached. I needed to be mentored. And so I sought help. The Legacy Center Preschool, which is affectionately called TLC, it's located here in the Atlanta metro area. And I tell you, the staff and teachers at TLC are authentically caring and passionate about their mission to create a school children love to attend and parents and teachers never want to leave. Isn't that an amazing mission? And they selflessly and abundantly shared their wisdom about how to create experiences for children, and especially for children with special needs or whose language was different than ours. And you should have seen us missionaries during that workshop. I mean, we would raise our hands and ask all kinds of questions. We would say, yeah, but can every child participate? Or we'll say, okay, really, can we expect to really connect with this child or to connect with that child? And the staff at TLC, they would so patiently and enthusiastically explain to us that we were actually asking the wrong question. The question shouldn't be, can they? But how can they? You see, they expanded our belief and understanding that, you know what? A child is a child is a child is a child. The needs might be different, but the joy and excitement and opportunity to participate could be possible for all of the children. And this is what it looked like. Oh, if it were only possible on this slide for you to hear sounds or see the faces under the mask, you would see that the laughter and the smiles were just life for all of the children. And, for a journey where I started off feeling unprepared and unqualified, I gained movement, right? When I borrowed the confidence of those who knew me. And then I gained even more movement when I put the law of contribution into effect to intentionally grow myself. And look at what happened. This process allowed me to experience moments that I thought was not possible. I mean, the question of, can every child, in spite of their physical disabilities or whatever other challenges they have, could every child really play with a parachute? Well, that question turned into an awareness of, oh boy, can every child really play with a parachute? And so now allow me to coach you on your journey. Let's go back to my previous question of what opportunity to serve has emerged in the space where you currently are or where you have been in the past, and your self-talk has been that you are unprepared or unqualified. Here's where you take out your pen and paper or whatever tool you have chosen for your own personal reflection. And the question is, how can you apply the law of contribution to grow yourself? I mean, who can mentor you and just offer you a baseline of wisdom? Kind of jot that down, your own personal reflections. How can you grow yourself through a self-talk of, I am unprepared or I am unqualified? Where can you find wisdom? So, we have focused so far on how precious and amazing the children served by FHC are. And you know what? My story and the mission of our team just keeps getting better. We asked our hostess what was the best experience they ever had with the visiting missionary team. And what immediately came to mind for her was the team that came and took time to serve the Tias. And you know what? The Victory Missionary Team, we accepted that challenge. Our goal was to be the greatest servants and to just show this reckless kind of love. The Tias at FHC, they are the primary caregivers for the children. And I tell you, when you see these Tias, you see the love of a mother when you witness how they interact with these children. And so our missionary team, we stretched ourselves to see how far could we actually go in loving on the Tias. We planned arts and crafts, and we went all out with an American cookout. And all of these things, they were fun and they were engaging. But you know, our biggest goal was to make the experience personal, to let these Tias know that they were seen and they were valued. And I tell you, emotions were high as we presented them with these custom, individualized plates with their names on them. And we also provided these name cards that describe the meaning of their names. The Tia said no one had ever served them to this extent. Our dream of being the greatest servants with the reckless kind of love came to life. Valerie Burton, she's a very cherished mentor of mine, and I love this quote from her. With the right thoughts, the right actions, and the right relationships, whatever divine dreams rest in your heart are possible. The right relationships, they have a way of motivating and inspiring you to dream the impossible and to just reach for the stars. The team of missionaries that I got to serve with, those men and women had hearts of gold that carried, nurtured, and brought to life absolutely divine dreams. That's my story. Let me pause my story and move into a coaching moment. And let's reflect on you. Is there a dream or a desire that you have had to maybe make a difference that now After hearing my story, you're now curious. What would it look like to go further? Or maybe, what would it look like to serve greater? What would it look like to dream bigger? Let's go back to your pen and paper, or again, whatever tool you have used, and think into that. Write down the names of people who can help you dream bigger. Or if you don't currently have a relationship with a person, write down the category or the profile of a person that could help you. For example, would it be a mentor? Would it be an organization, a community-based organization? Would it be a faith-based organization? Would it be a financial sponsor? Who can help you? That desire that you have to make a difference, what would it look like for you to go further? For you to serve greater? For you to dream bigger? I'm going to pause and let you write or think into those questions. What would it look like for you? So I have shared with you mentors who have coached me on my journey through this mission trip. I have shared teammates who have inspired me to dream big. Now, the last story that I will share is about the person who was my master teacher. He is 10 years old, and I'll give him the name Jay to protect his identity. Now, this picture that you see is a picture of the facility for his children in Latacunga. And as you can see, this building has many edges and curves and turns. And we were in free play, and Jay wanted to ride his bike. And so Jay would ride his bike in a straightaway, and he'd go really, really, really fast and stop just before hitting the wall. And then he'd turn and go really, really, really fast. And somehow he'd stick his leg out just in time to know when he's coming up on the curve, and he'd turn. And we circled this building in that way multiple times. Now he's on a bike, which means I'm running. Because again, each time he was in a straightaway, really, really fast, and stopped just before he got to the wall and turned. And so finally, after the umpteenth time, I said, Jay, can we please just pause? Can we please just take a break? Can we please? And so he leaned on his handlebar, and I looked at him and I said, Jay, ¿tú practicas mucho? Did you practice a lot? Jay looked at me, and he had this smile on his face that would put the Mona Lisa to shame. It spoke of wisdom well beyond his 10 years of living. And he just smiled and he shook his head. Yes. You see, Jay is completely blind. And so when I looked at his smile, what I saw were the times that he rode his bike and he slammed into the wall. And he fell and he had to get up. What I saw were the times when he misjudged where the curve was, and he fell over the curve and he bruised himself. But he got up. And each time there was a determination, there was a tenacity, there was a sense that the restrictions, the challenges of his situation was not going to keep him down. And he'd gotten to the place where he can go really, really fast. And somehow he knew just before he got to the wall, and he would turn. I promised you at the beginning of this talk that there would be one action that you can take away. and do immediately. And as we paused briefly for reflections, you should have thought about a dream or a desire that you have to make a difference or to serve others. And hopefully, you've also identified possible mentors or coaches or sources of wisdom that you could reach out to, or people you can collaborate with to dream big. Here is your action. My charge to you is to look at that list of names or organizations that you've written down and commit to reach out to just one person this week on your list and share your dream. Share your dream. Choose to be like Jay, and don't allow the possibility that you might hit a wall to stop you from pursuing your dream. Don't allow the possibility that you might misjudge the curve and fall to cause you not to get up again. Because for my master teacher, after I looked at his smile and I rested a bit and I looked at him and I said, "Should we go again?" And he started pedaling. I was completely exhausted. But as long as my master teacher was teaching, I was willing to be present and learn. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Get back up. Don't fear hitting the wall, because then what will happen is you will develop a rhythm where you can go really, 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 really fast and turn just before you hit the wall, and go really, really, really fast and kind of stick your leg out and know about where the curve is and turn. But what it takes is an action. And that is your one action. Just reach out to one person on your list and share your dream, because the possibilities are endless for where the conversation can go from simply sharing it. Now, for those who join me each month for these second Tuesday calls, you know that it is absolutely successful and satisfying to me if you do commit to that action. And if you have a feeling or a sense that you want to dive deeper, you want to explore these questions in this conversation in a bit more depth, then you can register to participate in upcoming mastermind. It'll be 2 sessions. It's at no cost. It's a continuation of the conversation to dive deeper. And so you can register and participate on the October the 17th and the 24th to continue the conversation. I'm going to stop sharing. And at this point, if there's anybody who has any feedback you want to offer, anything that you want to share about either reflection you have written about your dream and who you might reach out to, or your dream and who can mentor you or who can help you to think bigger into it, or if there's any feedback you want to offer about the mission trip, the floor is now open. You can feel free to unmute and share.
I want to comment about the mission trip.
Okay.
As a retired special education teacher of 30 years, and I've taught every area of special ed, every grade level, I can honestly say in all 30 years, I've always had a kid to teach me something. They are the best teachers. And if you open your mind and have that mindset that yes, they can, and yes, they will, and you accept that lesson, it'll better your life in all kinds of ways. So kudos to you all for making that trip and working with the kids that you worked with and having the mindset that yes, you can, yes, you will. Kudos to you for that.
Thank you. And thank you for your service and your heart. I appreciate you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Janelle, I just want to share um, the passion that you displayed, and not just the kids, but serving the kids and doing things with the kids that they will not be able to do because it requires multiple people there that care and share. And I've experienced that as an educator, that there are things that you want to do with people, with the kids, but you have to position them with people who understand them and their needs and their shortcomings with the language and the disabilities. And one thing you made me think about was if you can dream and how you dream, how you can serve the world around you through those dreams, using God's vision of how He wants us to first love Him first, because we'll have a full cup of overflow to serve others. And I just thought it was beautiful. I did. And it just really inspired me to first not only think about the actual mission, but really see the people that you're serving in a way that only you can see them. Because there will be people that will serve, but will they serve and really see them with the heart of the kingdom? So I just wanted to add that.